In Activity 2, Setting Up an Aquarium, students prepare their freshwater aquariums for the addition of living organisms. They learn how an aquarium is like a miniature lake or pond ecosystem and discuss what plants and animals need to survive in an aquarium. They then add sand and spring water to their aquariums. You will need the following materials from the kit: Activity Sheet 2, aquariums with lids, plastic dishes, bags of sand, aquarium light, 75-watt light bulb, grease pencil, and masking tape. You will also need to provide 11-inch by 17-inch white paper, assorted colors of crayons, mixing bowl, paper towels, wooden spoon, and spring water. To prepare for this activity, make a copy of Activity Sheet 2 for each student. Each aquarium requires about 1.5 gallons of spring water, approximately half a gallon for rinsing the sand and containers, and 1 gallon to fill the aquarium container. Rinse the aquarium and plastic dishes in spring water. Place a large mixing bowl, a wooden spoon, and several bottles of spring water at the sink for students to use to rinse their sand. Prepare an area of the classroom where the aquariums can be stored, away from direct sunlight and heat. Use the lamp provided in the kit as the primary light and heat source for all aquariums. Each team of 4 will need an aquarium and lid, 1 bag of sand, 1 plastic dish, and a piece of masking tape. To begin the activity, discuss what is meant by living and non-living. A living thing, like a real animal, is alive. A non-living thing, such as a toy animal, is not alive and has never been alive. Then ask students to brainstorm a list of living and non-living things found in a lake or pond, such as plants, fish, snails, water, sand, rocks, and so on. Divide the class into teams of 4. Distribute a large sheet of white paper to each student and some crayons to each team. Ask students to draw what they think a lake or pond looks like underwater, and to include any plants and animals they have seen. Next, inform students that a pond or lake is an example of a habitat or home for underwater plants and animals. Ask students, what are some other habitats or places where animals or plants live? The possible answers may include the jungle, the ocean, a desert, a field, or a forest. Then explain that an ecosystem is a group of living and non-living things and the habitat in which they live and interact with one another. Ask students, what might you find in an aquarium ecosystem? Help students understand that an aquarium ecosystem contains plants and animals that live, grow, and interact with one another in an underwater environment. Next, explain that a healthy ecosystem provides its members with all the things they need to survive. Ask students, what do human beings need to survive? Accept all reasonable answers, but elicit that people need food, water, and air to live. Then ask students, what do animals and plants need to survive? Explain that animals, like people, need food, water, and air to survive, and plants need water and light. Guide the students to understand that an aquarium must provide its inhabitants with food, water, air, and light for plants if they are to survive. Inform students that they are now going to prepare their aquariums for plants and animals similar to those found in lakes and ponds. Ask students, should we fill the tanks with salt water or fresh water? Students should reply that fresh water is similar to water in lakes and ponds. Explain to students that tap water from the faucet should not be used to fill the aquariums because it often contains chemicals that are beneficial to humans but may be harmful to plants and animals. Instead, recommend spring water, which comes from underground springs and does not contain chemicals. Then, tell students that before they fill the tanks with water, they must add sand to the bottom. Distribute 1 bag of sand, 1 plastic dish, and an aquarium with a lid to each team of 4. Demonstrate how to rinse the sand by pouring it into a mixing bowl and adding several inches of spring water. Stir with a wooden spoon and pour off the cloudy water. Repeat until the water runs clear, about 3 to 4 rinses. Then, instruct students to add the sand to the aquariums by scooping it from the bowl to the tank and then smoothing the sand so that it slopes to the front of the tank. Next, distribute a 1-gallon jug of spring water to each team. Instruct students to add water to the aquariums by holding a plastic dish over the shallow end of the aquarium and pouring the water into the dish, allowing it to overflow onto the aquarium. While students are preparing their aquariums, prepare 2 holding tanks to store extra organisms. Lastly, have students mark the water line with a grease pencil and label their aquariums with their names. Students should check the water level of their aquariums every day and replace any water that has evaporated. Finally, distribute a copy of Activity Sheet 2 to each student and have them color the picture to show how their aquarium looks with sand and water in it. When students have finished, tell them to place the aquariums in the storage area. Inform students that over the next few days, they will be adding plants and animals to their aquariums and observing how the organisms live, grow, and interact with one another in their new underwater home. To conclude the activity, collect students' activity sheets and save for use in Activity 3. Rinse the plastic dishes and allow them to air dry. For science background, reinforcement activities, curriculum connections, and information about the Delta Science Reader, please consult your DSM Teacher's Guide.